everyone, welcome to Jen the Realfluencer. My channel here is all about helping you be your most confident self through style, fashion, and beauty. So welcome if you are new here, or welcome back. First of all, first order of business, happy 2022. Who can believe it? Not me. I'm not raising my hand. I cannot believe it. I'm sure you're in the same boat. So you clicked on this video, unique beauty tips to try in 2022. As we're going through here, let me know down in the comments which of these you thought was, unique, interesting, gross, weird, never gonna try it, definitely gonna try it. Let me know all that stuff as we're going. If you are into beauty, style, fashion, definitely consider subscribing. We should probably be friends. I am mid-size curvy. I'm a size 14. I know that's not important for this video, but I do a lot of content like that on my channel. Probably should know that. You probably should also know that I'm a little bit of a goofball-y. If you're into all that, definitely hit the subscribe button. Also the like button. Before we get started here, let me know one of your unique beauty tips and secrets that you have been practicing down in the comments down below. We can all benefit from that. Let's go. So I broke this down into 3 different categories. So that is how we're gonna do this. So the first category is going to be skincare, anti-aging type of stuff. The next category is going to be actually more personal hygiene, I'll say / lifestyle. That is the one where I'll be really interested in hearing your thoughts. And then the final category is actually makeup. If you are somebody that gets your nails done, they have these UV light protectors for your hands. You know how you stick your hands under the lights, and they have those lights at home too. So you can obviously do this at home as well, but it definitely protects against, that harmful UV light that you're experiencing kind of in very direct form if you are doing your nails / getting your nails done. They're a little obnoxious, but we all know that our hands age one of the fastest out of earthing. Next one has to do with tech neck. Do everything in your power. That sounds dramatic, but do maybe practice certain things to try to eliminate tech neck. That has got us all, you know what I mean? Even for me, like if I'm sitting here with my phone like this, I try to lift my phone up, and I have multiple phone stands. As an example, when I'm sitting at my desk working all day, I have a phone stand that elevates my phone so that if I am on my phone throughout the day doing whatever, I don't have to be looking down at it. If you watch YouTube videos on your phone, elevate that, all of that kind of stuff. So just be mindful of it so that you can think of little ways or buy little helpers to combat tech neck. Here's a fun one. So I know we all love lines on our chest, right? We love that. So I'm gonna give you a tip for that specifically, but the best thing you can do for that is become a back sleeper. And there's a lot of reasons why back sleeping is the absolute best. It's been game changing for me, but I know there's a lot of people that try to back sleep and just quite literally can't. And I'm actually gonna give you a tip for that in a second. I have a chest separator, okay? So the thing looks basically like a backwards sports bra. So I would tell you, I do have one, and I can link it, that's kind of fit for the job. And really the difference between this and the back of a sports bra is it's probably a little bit thinner, and the part, that kind of goes like that is padded. So there's that. But if this sounds totally crazy to you, maybe pick up one of your sports bras, at least that has that in the back of it. I would say probably start with a looser sports bra, which I know might be challenging because sports bras are generally tighter, but if you happen to have one laying around that's like a little bit too big for you, my point in saying that is it might be very uncomfortable and you might just hate it. Try it. You will be shocked. It's one of those things like with wrinkles, of course there's only so much we can do, but if you kind of go to the source of what is causing the problem, which in this case is side sleeping, and your boobs, gravity is pulling them into each other, causing that. If you take that and separate them, you'll see, obviously I can't really show you here, the way it hangs if you're on your side, but it's not crinkling your chest. They of course also have those patches that you can get for your chest. I think those also do the same kind of thing, but this is a reusable way to essentially prevent all of that from happening in the first place. Fun tip, I actually wear mine on the outside of my pajamas. Does that look ridiculous? Absolutely it does. I'd be washing that thing all the time. I wasn't trying to invest in like 5 of those things. Definitely try back sleeping, and I kind of have 2 tips. We'll just call the tip in general, and if we're counting to 22, just back sleeping, which I know is not that innovative. A couple of ways to try to get you to back sleep. So try sleeping on a wedge. You're really being taken out of your comfort zone almost. You're not just gonna wiggle around as much. Like, it really kind of keeps you in that position. Another reason a wedge can be good is it definitely helps with snoring. It can really help with like the drainage of fluid from your face. If you ever wake up and you're super swollen and puffy, if you started sleeping on a wedge, a lot of that I think would drain throughout the night and you'd probably wake up and not be so puffy. Another thing that you can get to help with back sleeping is a pillow that's kind of fit for the task. I do have a pillow like that where it kind of cradles your head. So again, it goes against that urge of like wanting to flip over. My journey to back sleeping was basically that I could never fall asleep on my back, but I always woke up on my back. So I knew that back sleeping, at least for me, was natural and comfortable. And I certainly know that that is not the case for everybody. So I would say if you are somebody like me though, and you can sleep on your back in any capacity, even if you can't fall asleep like that, I would tell you that there is hope for you to become a back sleeper. Let's stay on the topic of kind of anti-aging overnight or whatever. You guys are gonna think this is so weird. Sleep with a neck brace on. Okay, hear me out. So kind of again, going to the concept of going to the source of the wrinkles. Totally understand this is super superficial. I get it. Tech neck is one thing, and definitely the way you sleep. I'm a back sleeper, but I think half the time I'm just like, you know, I'm kind of like that. I mean, how many wrinkles am I forming right now? Again, you think of like how to prevent that. That's what I'll tell you about sleeping with a neck brace. I'm a very good sleeper. So to me, it doesn't bother me because it is a little bit weird. If you are a light sleeper or you kind of, you know, are in and out of sleep all night, you're going to hate this. You know, probably just don't even bother. And obviously don't put it so tight that it feels like you can't breathe or something. Don't do that. Think about it. If I've got something stiff on my neck like that and I kind of go like this, my neck is essentially staying in the same position. It's restricting it from even doing that. Do I do this every night? No, because sometimes I just don't freaking feel like it. And here is a really fun fact though. I would often wake up with a sore neck. Do we ever do that? You know, you wake up and you're like, what the heck did I do last night? Why can't I move this morning? This has really helped my neck. Like, I think because whatever positions, you know, you're like contorting your neck in overnight, it also prevents those positions and it keeps your neck perfectly straight. I mean, think about often people are wearing that if they have a neck injury or they're recovering or have neck problems. Get that it's weird, but it does help. Tell me how weird you think it is down in the comments. I'll be so curious. Again, kind of going to this concept of like going to the source of wrinkles, you know, squinting. Squinting is a huge thing. So a couple of the things that I do to prevent from squinting, always wearing big sunglasses, fully cover your eyes. Think about the times that we're often squinting. We're often squinting because we're looking at harsh light all of a sudden, or we're looking at our phone and it's bright, but in a dark room. So if I step outside and the sun is out and I don't have sunglasses for some reason, you know, I'm going like this. If I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and for whatever reason turn the light on and it's like that shocking, I go like this. I turn the light down on my phone. My alarm wakes me up, which my alarm is on my phone. It's not that bright, harsh light that you're squinting at. Definitely talked about a lot of this kind of stuff and more in my video that I did. It was actually one of the first videos on my channel. 12 anti-aging kind of secrets that are free of charge. I can link that video for you. I don't know if it's just me, but I always have remnants of eye makeup. Whether it's from eyeliner, mascara, I try to remove all my eye makeup. I take a little bit of micellar water on a Q-tip and just kind of go over it. And that gets the rest of it while also not tugging at your eye. Sometimes we can fall into that trap of like, if you do prefer to have a skincare routine and you just can't like make it into the bathroom that night, quite literally passing out from almost exhaustion. Hopefully you can like at least get your makeup off or whatever. I keep a small little skincare set in my bedside table. Really, it's made up of samples. You know how often we get like little samples from Ulta or Sephora or wherever. Anything is better than nothing. That's how I look at it. That might also be like a nice little trick for like, oh, hey, I'm staying overnight somewhere real quick, just one night only. I'm gonna grab that little pre-packed skincare bag. I mean, that's also another use for it. category that has some definitely interesting ones. I can't wait to hear your thoughts about these. Did I hype you up enough? I hope you're not disappointed. I'll start with a gross one, because is that what we all are waiting for? You're never gonna look at me the same after this, and I just know it. Blow your nose in the shower. Hear me out. Okay. Sometimes, you know, you're kind of blowing hard and you're making squinting faces. The reason why the shower is good, I mean, number one, you save tissues. You know I had to say it, right? Number two, when that steam is in there, it really loosens up everything. It's gonna just come right out. And although I get that it sounds gross, you just kind of do it and it goes right down the drain. Kind of just go like that and push. And, you know, you just, it's gross. I told you. If anybody else does this, you have to tell me. Try a tongue scraper. How you have that bad taste in your mouth and you know how it like originates in the back. You will literally feel the bad breath / disgusting taste in your mouth come off. Does it look gross when, yeah, it's gross. It's gross. But I do think it is hygienic. I mean, I think so. How could that not be hygienic? I don't know. Tell me down in the comments if you've heard of this. Let's go with a not so gross one. One of the most frequently asked questions that I get is, Jen, how do you keep your teeth white? And to be honest, I feel like my teeth are not that white right now. However, I started using this toothpaste. It's the Crest Stain Eraser specifically. It's great for people that drink coffee. I don't even drink coffee. I noticed that once I started using this, I really wasn't whitening my teeth as much. Before, I would always use Crest White Strips. I would try to do them once a year, maybe even twice a year. But and that's why I feel like I probably don't have as white of teeth right now, is I haven't done Crest White Strips in about 2 years, or any really whitening product at all. I've only been using this, and I'm telling you, for like a maintenance product, this stuff is the bomb.com. We just finished up the 11th tip, which means we are halfway through this video. Let me know what you think so far down below. Please give the video a like if it has been helpful or weird or interesting so far. It helps me and my channel out a ton, and I would really appreciate it. If you are somebody that tans, I prefer a tanning onesie, I call it, which is basically a romper that I use for tanning, or at minimum, like tanning clothes. So I think we all know when you tan, you feel disgusting, you feel like you stink, you feel gross. I do it before bed. I know not everybody does that. It stains your sheets. And I bought it probably 2 sizes too big, because again, you know, when you're tanning and you feel sticky, I feel like the last thing you want to do is put on anything tight. But why it's good to have this is because it's way too big. It's one unit. So meaning like when I sleep, I'll sleep like literally even with the hood up and everything. I don't have one with footsies. I wish I did. It really does help protect your sheets. And I got mine in black, so that way when it gets all stained, it doesn't gross me out. I wash it between every single tan. Do you know those silicone sponges that kind of like, I think they were marketed originally, put on foundation instead of a beauty blender? No, that does not work. I really like these for face tanner. Anytime I seem to use face tanner, you know, you're typically using your fingers to apply it. I get it all up somehow in my cuticles. Even if I'm super careful, it somehow transfers to the front of my fingers, makes my fingers look dirty. Even if it's a mixer, I mix it on this little silicone sponge, and then I use that little silicone sponge to put it all over my face, and then my fingers are never touching the tanner. The weirdest one is coming next, so hang tight. My next tip is to have a pre-packed bag for when you go away. So I have a bag that is all encompassing of everything that I would need, whether I'm going on a week-long vacation or just an overnight vacation. It makes packing for vacation really nice, really easy. I never have to worry that I forgot something, because like I put a lot of thought into this bag when I originally put it together. Kind of eliminates that whole like list and fear of forgetting something. But as a best practice, when I come back from said trip or vacation, I actually take a look at what I used up during that trip and replenish it at that time. So then when it goes back into my closet, it's still kind of ready to go for the next time. This one is another weird one. I have these tweezers, and I will definitely link similar ones below because the shape does matter. If you've ever thought about your ears and how, you know, of course we clean in our ear, but if you think about it, are we often or really ever cleaning the rest of our ear? I know I wasn't. So what I do with the opposite end of the plucking part is I take it up and I get inside there, I'll even take it into there, around your actual ear cavity there. I wanna make it very clear, I don't like stick this thing in my ear. I use it to essentially clean all around my actual ear. And I'm telling you, if you try this, you will be shocked at the amount of, I don't even know what to call it, gunk. You know, because often, like, you know, you're bringing sometimes your makeup onto there, hair products. It is shocking how much stuff is on your ear that's not in your ear. There's probably other things you could use. I just happened to notice that the shape of mine was something that would fit into my ear. So like if you have a pointed at the end, like I don't think that's gonna work as well. You definitely want it to be rounded. So if you have anything else that shape, I think it could work. I think we're all familiar with brow gel. I feel like the type of brow gel we typically see is like the clear brow gel, which is a setter, or something with pigment and color that's essentially meant to like fill in your brows. I actually use brow gel in a different way. I get a shade lighter than my brow, and I do generally use it as my setter, but what I've noticed is it gives an interesting texture to your brow. I would say fill your brows in like normal, but then get one shade lighter. I feel like generally lighter brows look better. You have your standard brow color. Going one shade lighter versus one shade darker is generally going to flatter really everybody. It adds texture, it adds depth, it makes them look more real, it lightens them a little bit, all the things. I love it. I've been doing it for years. My favorite one is by NYX. I can definitely link it below. This is the year. This is the year for you to find your actual correct foundation undertone. I can link a couple resources for you below, but here's how I did it, and then I have another tip for you on how to keep doing it. One of the ways that I did it was I bought a couple of really cheap foundations. The one that I did was Wet n Wild. I think even at regular price, this stuff is, I don't know, $5 to $7. I did it particularly when it was at Target one time on sale for like $2.50. Is this wasteful? Yeah, probably it is. I don't know. I feel like you almost need that trial and error. You need to be able to do it at home, because I know you probably say, oh, go to Sephora, and you should go to Sephora. If you've never been shade matched, like definitely go do that. But I kind of played around with, I think I bought like 4, I don't know, I think I spent like 10, no more than 15 bucks on it to try to really understand undertones and see how they really looked all day, see how they really looked on a full face of makeup. I think when you understand that more, you will really be able to spot it better. So I guess that's my tip for that. A tip for you on how I continue to buy my best shade in a foundation. So like, let's say it's Sephora. I mean, number one, you can try their shade match. That definitely helps. That helps steer you at least in a decent direction. But if you already have your perfect foundation shade, even if it's not like your perfect foundation, like you don't love the way it wears or whatever, but it's your perfect shade, pump that onto your hand and walk around Sephora or Ulta. The foundations in which you're interested in shade matching, match them to that shade on your hand. I mean, if you have something that is so tried and true for you, you will be able to see how the other one compares to that. And if you let it on your hand for a few minutes, it'll oxidize, same with the one you're trying to match it, and perfection every time. You're not gonna always find the perfect one, but you're gonna find the absolute closest match. Kind of speaking to the concept of how I found my perfect foundation shade undertone. Kind of the same thing with concealer. I remember I bought, gosh, what is it? It's the e.l.f. one that's like full coverage, comparable to Shape Tape. That one was pretty inexpensive because I did not understand, certain ones of my concealer looked better on me than others. Of course, there's always like the coverage level, but I'm talking about even like rosy tone, neutral tone, yellow tone, golden, all that kind of stuff. By doing that, kind of again through trial and error, I learned that a rosy toned, actually like a pink undertone concealer, I thought looked the best on me. People would advise you to maybe get a similar shade of foundation. So like if I'm a golden undertone or something, I'd probably get like a golden undertone concealer. If I had yellow or golden concealers, they definitely made me look kind of sickly, where the pink salmon was very brightening. It made my eyes look more awake and open and all the things. So again, if I didn't kind of do that trial and error all day wear, how does it look with the rest of my makeup kind of thing, I don't think I would have ever learned that, because I would be like, well, I'm not a cool undertone foundation, so I'm not gonna get a cool undertone concealer. That's what worked for me. Possibly try a couple different ones. That's the tip, to see what's best for you. get yourself some duo fiber slash stipple type brushes, and these actually will tie into my next couple tips. I think they're life-changing for blending cream products, like putting cream bronzer on or cream blush on with a stippling brush. I'm going to talk about an eyeshadow trick here in a second, and also a powder trick. It's not really a powder trick, just a best practice. And all of those are done with stippling slash duo fiber brushes. I can definitely link some of my favorites below. And this is not a new tip. I'd say maybe if you're newer to makeup, this might be an interesting tip for you, but if you're familiar with makeup, this is not a new tip. Try using a finishing powder and a buffing technique with your duo fiber brush. I would suggest get a very finely milled type of finishing powder. And even if you don't want to do that, but want to still just try the buffing, I would just use a very small amount of whatever powder you already used. It just blends everything together and it looks seamless. Like, you know, sometimes like you put blush and then highlight it and it all can kind of look a little bit layered. You use that finishing powder and a buffing technique, it's gonna look so flawless, airbrush, professionally blended. Have with you like a matte blend out palette is what I call it. Obviously, if you're using an eyeshadow palette, you can use other shades within the palette to blend out. I do this as almost like a final step. The reason I like having a blend out palette, if you will, is sometimes the palette you're using isn't always the best shade. And I like having all these different mattes because I often am choosing them based on what's gonna be best with my skin tone mixed with the color that I have on my eyes right now. I really like one from e.l.f. that I can link for you. I do that method, and this method will work for you whether you use a stipple brush, duo fiber brush or not. And I'm talking about like an eyeshadow duo fiber type of a brush. Coupled together, a matte blend out palette, if you will, with a brush like that is going to slam dunk. I have blended out some of the crappiest eyeshadow this way. And again, I often do it as like a final step. I usually try to blend it out as much as I can. And even when I think something can't look softer, it makes it look softer, which makes it look, you know, just more put together, more airbrush, flawless, more professional. I'm in no way claiming to be a professional makeup artist in any way, but I think this makes it look as professional as it could. We made it. 22 tips for 2022. What was your most interesting thing that you found in this video, or grossest or weirdest or whatever? I'd be so curious to know. So leave that in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to hang out some more. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!